All right, guys, we are here today. Let's pull this up. Started a little bit later today. We just don't have much going on early, so we're gonna, pick it up a little bit later. That's all right. Should be able to hear the music. What's up, team? Yeah, today we got CB Consumer Confidence. Yesterday was our 8th green day in a row. We have had 8 green days in a row in broad markets. Will today be the 9th? Vote on that poll. Let us know what you guys think. Are we going to have the 9th green day in a row today? Let me know how you feel. Market's slightly down this morning, though, believe it or not. Actually, the market's pretty heavily down. The Q is down significantly. We originally broke lifetime highs on the Q yesterday. Gapped up a lot and then dumped. We're not actually down that much. I'm sorry. When I look at it relative to everything else, we're not down that much. Nvidia is still close to 500. Tesla still sitting at 256s. My portfolio is slightly red, just slightly, but it's up a lot, which is great. Also, y'all slap that like button. Again, will today be the 9th green day in a row is the question. Will today be the 9th green day in a row? All right, we're here. Current account balance will surely be negative with foreign aid being so high. Could mean a big drop in the dollar. Do we have current account data today? Yesterday we had building permits. Today we got European current account is most likely what you're talking about. That data came in at 33.8 billion versus 27 billion expected. We got the U.S. current accounts today. That drops in 50 minutes. It's not a huge release. They're expecting minus 197 bill. Last time we came in at minus 212 billion. Today we have CB Consumer Confidence existing home sales as well today, but the consumer confidence one's kind of the biggest one. It's the one you probably want to pay attention to. Yeah, we're starting the stream a little bit later. Help us out by slapping that subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate it. Hit the like button, team. Bump those numbers up real quick. Looking at our poll numbers, it's pretty split down the middle in terms of like whether people think we're gonna have another green day today or not. 51% say no right now. Actually, it's completely 50-50 split out of 42 votes. Look at how split the voting is. I'm watching it go back and forth. Like, look at this. Like, check this out. Like, look at the votes go back and forth here. Like, look at the votes. 55%, 45%. So most people think yes. I'm going to go ahead and say yes because you got a lot of buys coming in the market right now from this stuff. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of buys showing up. I'm going to hope we have another green day. We'll see. And again, my portfolio is slightly red, but we were up so much yesterday. We're up thousands in this portfolio in profit. It's pretty easy to make money now on the long side. So it's all good there. by the dip in FedEx. Oh yeah, FedEx had earnings yesterday, correct? Yeah, they're gapping down pretty heavily from 280s down to 250s. Big percentage gap down there. Wow. Again, they're gapping down like 10% on their earnings for FedEx. The problem though is that they've had such a good year. I don't know if I necessarily like a dip buy. FedEx started the year off at 162. They're currently at 280s, right? So they're not quite up 100%, but they're up like whatever that is, like 80%, 80 something percent. So they've had a really good year already. So even though they're up that much, like this dip down to 250 is not as enticing as I normally would take on like a big percentage earnings drop like this. It just doesn't look good enough to really attack in that way because, again, if we look at FedEx here, again, FedEx is already up a freaking boatload this year. They're down a lot from earnings, and that's it. Look at this big dip from earnings in the middle. But again, if we look at a yearly chart, they started the year off at 160, and they're up huge percentages on the year already. So like, they're already could arguably be extended. Although the market as a whole, like I said, if we look at the SPY here on a yearly perspective, you know, the SPY's up big on the year too. So I don't know if we can really knock the extension on FedEx just because the market's doing a similar thing. But I just don't know if I'm willing to buy it right now. So we'll see. What's the PE ratio? Let me check it out. PE ratio of FedEx is 17. Solid. So FedEx actually got a really low PE ratio as well. Very low. Do they pay out divvies? That's what you always got to check if you got a really low PE ratio. Yeah, they do. They pay out a big dividend too. That might be interesting then. Weaker demand hit revenue. The problem though, like if I'm being honest, I think we're always going to need companies like FedEx, right? But I think they might lose market share over technology growth throughout the years. Maybe I'm wrong there. I'm not going to go buy it up. I'm not going to, you know, it's the end of the year. I'm up big. I'm up nicely on the year, you know. I'm up thousands on the year right now on my TOS account. And so I guess if there was a time to take risks, it would be now, because even if I lose, it just means I'll pay less taxes. But like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Again, QF408's, you see the previous lifetime high up there. Got a very choppy market right now, very sideways neutral market here, it seems. See, I gotta get these alerts better set on TradingView. Question is, do I want to buy Upwork? All right, guys. So the queue up there. Yeah, we got GameStop. GameStop is at like $17 or so, 17 bucks. We also have the queue. Again, I'm kind of tempted to buy FedEx. The reason I'm kind of tempted to is because FedEx pays a heavy dividend, right? Like $1.20 something a share, and it is a $250 stock, and so it moves, which is the only thing that's kind of stopping me. The PE ratio is very low though for FedEx. It's very low. It's very small. Hey, what's up, Fights with Friends? What a wild market. Love what you do. Is this your full-time job now? Yeah, I mean, it's not my full-time job. I do a couple different things. Like, I do software development as well. I'm a real estate agent also, as well as I do this. And I have a couple income streams, but we certainly make a full-time job wage doing this. And we have for years. Like, we've made... I'm not going to be too specific in how much I make here. Right now, we're certainly making six figures running this. And we've been making, I would say, at least 50,000 plus a year for, half a decade now running the channel. You know what I mean? I always tell people, like, if you can run a stream and get over 200 people there, every day, you can make 50K a year. And so... AI can make emojis better than a graphic designer. Yeah, I'll have to try that out. I have some of the AI image generators as well. Well, I mean, again, it's certainly. I mean, again, we're kind of painting it with a broad brush, but it's certainly true. You have to think about it like this, right? Like people don't quite grasp the significance of people, right? So, like the easiest way to explain this, right? So the 200 person example is like this, okay? So if you were in a auditorium, and you had 200 people that showed up in that auditorium and listened to you every day. Right? You can monetize that audience. You could promote things to them. And again, I'm very open and honest about my sponsors and promotions. Like I tell people constantly, every time I plug freaking anything, I say, hey, they pay me money. I am biased in their favor because they pay me money. I say it every time. And again, I'm being very transparent about all of it because I mean, again, I'd rather sleep well at night and know and be honest than make a little bit more and be misleading. You know what I mean? And so you take my large streams here for an example, and my large streams like Jerome Powell, when he speaks, we're gonna have 4,000 plus live viewers for when he does speeches outside of the FOMC meeting, like the Jackson Hole Symposium, we had 8,000 people watching live. 8,000 simultaneous viewers, right? And so if you think about the scale of that, right? Like if you go sit in an auditorium, if you got 8,000 people watching you, again, it's just very easy to monetize. And again, I'm transparent about it. And again, it's something that it's not easy to build. A lot of people think it's easy, but it's not. It takes time and energy to build it up. And but yeah. The problem a lot is like, and this happens with my kids too, is like you got people like Logan Paul and all these entertainers, right? And they're getting like millions of views, right? So people look at like smaller channels like mine and they think that they're just not earning money. And again, you have to understand like that's the entertainment genre or the entertainment sector of it, right? So they're gonna make less per viewer and they're gonna get more viewers, and there's pros and cons, but. Yeah, I get almost an email a day of people wanting to sponsor me reaching out. And I can show you guys my email if you guys want. I've done it before. Like, I literally get about an email a day from somebody wanting to sponsor me. I don't really accept a lot of them, you know, of course. I think they've slowed down because I banned a lot of them, but yeah. Yeah, it looks like they stopped. I gotta slow down lately, which is good, honestly. I had so many people emailing me. But I really do. Hey, John and blank company working together. Hello, John. We love your content. You know, like I just get a lot of this. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. Yeah, some of these aren't bad though. Like some of them are bad. Like I'm looking at some of them, but again, I don't need them. I'm not gonna accept any more sponsors. Yeah, we've got videos with 100K plus. We're more of a live streaming channel though. Yeah, bro. Nobody emails me, bro. Look, this is just today. All right, this is just today. But yeah, nobody emails me, bro. You know, look, this is going back for the last week of just sponsorships, right? Like just sponsor requests. Okay. Make sure there's nothing I shouldn't put it out here. Most of these are sponsorship requests. Collaboration opportunity as an influencer. Collaboration, link Asia Media. New offer received. You know, BingX exchange business proposal. Hello, I hope this email finds you well. My name is blank. I represent BingX, a cutting edge exchange wanting to sponsor you. John at Beginner Trading. Again, I get them like constantly. This is just literally like the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails. You know, if I keep scrolling back, it looks the same, to be honest. What's your view on gold? Gold right now. And again, typically when I talk about I make money, you got some people that are just, for lack of a better word, haters. They're just insecure about their own situation. Like if you're sitting at home and you're not making much money, I might make you mad talking about it. I'm not trying to make you mad. I'm just talking about what it really is. I think it's an interesting perspective that a lot of people ask me about regularly. So I'm going to tell you about it. Gold right now ripped up. Now, the interesting part about gold is the crypto nuance of it as well as the bank nuance of it. Somebody asked me about it, low-key. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, again, if I'm just talking to the chat, man. I'm just responding to the chat. And so if you get mad I'm talking about the 5 same things, it's mostly because people keep asking me about the 5 same things. Yeah. Well, you're probably the same person as my guess is you're D trader as well. You know what I mean? Like, which again, you got some people who just create fake names and like sit around waiting to criticize. I looked at D Trader yesterday and noticed that he was one of those guys that just kind of sits around waiting to poke, you know what I mean? And also low-key is one of them as well. So my guess is they could be the same person. Not 100% sure, but I think the probability there is pretty high. I'm gonna email you about my brand new company selling foot pads. Hey, good luck, bro. So CB consumer confidence data drops at 10. So it drops at 10 a.m. So we still got a few hours, right? But it's not the biggest release. Like, the biggest releases for markets come tomorrow. So tomorrow we have jobless claims. I believe we have jobless claims and a couple other reports tomorrow. We got GDP tomorrow. I forgot about that. We have GDP. We have jobless claims. We've got the Philly Fed index, right? So all of that stuff tomorrow is going to be big. Today's is kind of like, eh. Right, exactly, Tom. That's 100% what it is. I don't get the point of wasting time. If it hurts that much, then they've got to have something wrong at home. Yeah, I get it. They're just kind of struggling, man, is usually what it is. And I'm okay with it. Like I said, they'll get banned forever here, but I'm okay with it. Again, I'm just got to see if the market ends its 9th green day. Again, if the market ends green today, it'll be its 9th green day in a row. The Q, I believe, is on the same trajectory. The Q did end green yesterday, broke highs, lifetime highs again this morning. Q hit this morning, guys. If you look at this, it hit almost 410 up here, almost 410. So we'll see if it continues, but yeah. Yeah, it's been slower for sure. Like every week, just to give you guys like an understanding of my schedule here running this channel. Like I said, we're mostly economic reports. So we mostly cover economics here at this channel. We don't really cover a lot of we day trade every day. But we also cover economics, and the big streams we do here are economic releases. Every quarter, we have about a 2-week period where it's slow, and we're in that 2-week period now. Like, this is the 2-week slow period where this week we got some stuff tomorrow and Friday. Next week's very slow. And then after that, we kick back off with the rest of everything. So this week's big, though, because tomorrow we have GDP, jobless claims, the Philly Fed index. Friday, we have PCE data. We've got core PCE data, the personal consumption expenditure. Again, the Fed's preferred inflation metric. The Fed's preferred inflation metric. We got Michigan consumer expectations again tomorrow as well. And then also, again, next week's pretty slow. We don't have much going on next week. And so next week's pretty boring. It's a holiday week all around. Economic data is light. We got like the Case-Shiller house price index next week. But aside from that, it's basically completely dead next week. There's just nothing going on. There's no economic reports. It's a holiday week. The market's closed Monday. So the market's completely closed Monday. Tuesday, we've got the Case-Shiller, and that's it. Wednesday, we have nothing. Thursday, we have jobless claims. So next week is probably one of the slowest weeks in markets. The following week, though, the week of January 1st, that's when we start to get some more stuff. We get manufacturing PMI data coming out. We have the JOLTS job report coming out Wednesday. The following week, ISM manufacturing PMI Wednesday as well. So yeah, we got PMI data. And then I'm looking at other stuff. Thursday, we have services and non-farm employment data. And then Friday, we have non-farm payrolls. All right, so yeah, so next week's very slow. The following week we get non-farm data coming back up, ending the week with the big one in non-farm payrolls. Look at Tesla rip. So Tesla up to 256.60s here. They're not. Yeah, same person, just kind of being weird, man. Yeah, so CP consumer confidence expected numbers is, let me see. So CP consumer confidence data is expected today. The expected number is 103.8 for December for CB Consumer Confidence. If you don't know what this is, CB Consumer Confidence measures the level of confidence consumers have in the economy. If it's not self-evident, when consumers are optimistic, they spend more, which increases inflation, right? So a higher than expected reading here, in my opinion, might make the market fall, and a lower than expected reading might make the market rip up. Yeah, if you see me banning some people, guys, like the people I'm banning, like it's a long story, but there's certain people here that seem to like either create fake accounts and go away and then troll, right? So like I'm banning trolls that have been here before that are known trolls for the channel. And again, they can do whatever they want, but like again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just understand like I'm not just kind of randomly banning people. Like there's a reason I'm doing it. And I appreciate the supporters here. Thanks so much. But yeah, so again, CB Consumer Confidence data expected at about 103.8, 103.8. Again, I think a higher than expected CB Consumer Confidence reading is going to make the market fall, and a lower than expected CB Consumer Confidence reading is going to make the market rip. Well, let me know what you guys think. Do you think the market wants a higher or lower CB Consumer Confidence? How volatile does this consumer confidence data move the S&P? CB Consumer Confidence is a smaller report for sure. It's not really like a wildly influential report in my opinion. It might move it some. It depends on each individual month, right? It varies. Sometimes it'll move the markets more heavily. Sometimes it'll move the markets less. It's still somewhat relevant though. It's not like a small report. It's not a tiny report. Like it should move and have some influence, but it also might not. So we'll just kind of have to sit around and wait. Yeah, the 3 charts, I like the 3 charts too. I'm a top 3 supporter, don't ban me. Yeah, I think you're usually right about your assessments. Yeah, for sure. What I do, to be honest, what I do is I check the logs is what I do, right? So I check the logs. I can check all the chat logs, right? If I look back at the person and number one, they've been banned or put in timeout before from being negative, then they're usually just somebody that's sitting around just trying to hate for whatever reason. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It happens. Good day to you, sir. Yeah. If it wants to go down, it will. Data can be interpreted either way, it seems like. Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, there's no, like I always tell people, there's no way to really know what the market's going to do with any data report. We could try to predict it, and sometimes I think based off of like macroeconomic sentiment, we can make some accurate predictions based off of not predicting what the number is going to be, but how the market might react to a specific number, right? So if we come in higher than expected for CB consumer confidence, again, when consumers are more confident in the economy, they spend more, right? What does more spending cause, guys? Does anybody know what more spending causes? Higher prices, right? It's a market, right? So when more spending is there, we get higher prices. 100% higher prices, inflation. That's right. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, so again, that makes me guess, and again, it's a pure guess. I have no idea what I'm talking about. As you guys always know, no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything, but I think it might be a nuance today where higher CB consumer confidence means the market dips, means more people spending, and that might not be good. Better earnings, yeah, for sure. Where do you put resistance when the market breaks all-time highs? It's a percentage. It can be a percentage. I mean, that's very subjective. Where we should put resistance levels after when we're in kind of no man's land above highs is very subjective in terms of how you look at support or resistance. For me personally, I look at milestone levels. I said this yesterday, but I look at milestone levels. What I mean by milestone levels is I look for big hold dollars that are relevant, if that makes sense. So a good example of that is on NVIDIA right here, 500. 500 on NVIDIA, obviously a pretty big kind of milestone level. We have 496 here, which is the previous high of the day, but $500, if you look at this and you extend it to the left, traders react to it. Why? Because it's such a clean number. It's a milestone level. So if we put a 10-day chart up here, you can see $500 here, better with probably a daily chart. If you put a daily chart up, you can see $500 is respected heavily. Why? Because it's a milestone level. Look at Tesla go green on the day, or try to go green on the day. It's at 257s. But yeah, the reason we're looking at it is because it's a milestone level. It's a level at which, if we break it, it can really run, or it can reject it as resistance, or it could bounce as support. So it's just a relevant whole dollar level that a lot of other traders are paying attention to, and so because of that, we want to watch it as well. Yeah, the S&P 500, I'm sure 5K is one of those big milestone levels. We haven't quite hit it yet, but 5K, I'm sure, is a big milestone level. Probably a level. And again, anything can happen. We might hit that level and traders interpret it as so strong that they start buying it up and it ends up ripping up the market. Or we could hit that level and just dump down. You know, a lot of the time what you see on charts is you see something like this where we push up. We get very close to that big milestone level, and then we dump down and never hit it. I see that all the time, and because I think it traps traders. Traders get all hyped up thinking that we're going to break it, and then we just dump down and destroy their accounts. I see that happen a lot with traders. What do you think of the Cybertruck? I guess 1.9 million pre-orders, meaning people like it. I mean, I think it's cool. I like the Cybertruck. I think it's fast. Yeah, it could be a trap. No, reach out to Tradeovate, Wretched. It's not, you know, that's on you. Yeah, it's hard to get banned here. Like, I try to give people second chances, but again, anytime you do something cool, people are gonna hate on it. I think a lot of it stems from, like, again, people I used to work for, or people that wanted to work with me in the past, and for whatever reason I didn't let them. That happens a lot. You'd be surprised at how many scorned people get weird over that. You know, there's just a lot of reasons, man. Maybe people I know from back home who don't like to see me on YouTube, and that makes them feel some type of way about it. It is what it is, you know. Anytime you do something cool, people are going to hate on it. I probably should be a little bit more resilient to it, if I'm being honest. Maybe I'm a little bit too sensitive and reactive to it. I just ban people, and then I feel bad about banning them, and I think people are going to judge me from banning people, but it's like, I gotta run it how I see fit, you know. Google is strong. Google's been really strong the last few days, really. Google's been incredibly strong. Google almost up to 140. My average price in Google is 125.19. 125.19. Google almost up to 140s right now. It's at 139.75. And so we're still holding this. Really nice gap up today. We might take a little bit off here, actually. I mean, we're up so much. Yeah, we're going to lock in some of that profit there on Google. And just to show you guys Google here. How do I know if I'm lucky in trading or doing well? Well, the only way you can really tell that is a large sample size. So, a large sample size will get rid of any variance and on the good and bad side. Could be profit taking, most likely, or yeah, it could be. It's mostly profit taking for sure when it dumps from those big high levels. UAVS, man, it's been a while since I've even seen this. Sketchy, terrible penny stock, really bad price action. You know, looks like one of the sketchiest stocks on a long-term chart. If we look at UVAS, this thing is just a terrible company, man. Look at a weekly chart. This means it's been split all heck and back. Like, it's just not a good looking company, man. I would just be careful buying this. Again, it's almost certainly going to fail. No, nothing certain. Maybe it has some type of Lazarus-like resurgence. I don't think it does, personally. So, good luck, man. Hope you make some money on it. I don't know. So, again, yesterday was our 8th green day in a row. It's the longest green streak in, I believe, the SPY since 2018. And so we've had 8 green days in a row in the market. 8 green days in a row. I believe it's the longest green streak since 2018, but I'm not 100% sure. Can you check Bitcoin? Where's Bitcoin at? Bitcoin at 43.3K. Eighth green week. Yeah, it's the 8th green week again. If this week is green, it'll be the 9th green week in a row. ENPH. Yeah, ENPH is energy. It's really one of those companies that, like, okay, so ENPH is starting to get a resurgence, and there might be an argument for this long term, right? But again, I'm going to preface it with I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything I say here, all right? But the trend looks okay. The trend looks all right. You know, so like, okay, let's look at the trend. Currently, number one, I think we are in a downward trend. You know, I think we have to look at this objectively. I think we're obviously in a downward trend. We can draw this trend here. You know, I think we've been in that downward type of trend now for 3-4 months, right? We're starting to get a bounce back, but it's energy, so it's more volatile. So what this is going to do, I'm not really sure. But I think we have an obvious downward trend here. Number one, I think we got an obvious downward trend, and I don't know how long it's going to break. I can draw it up myself. You know, we've been in this downward trend for a minute now. And so maybe we're starting to, you know, let me see. Let me activate this. Let's put this here. So we got this little trend. Try to make it a little bit shorter. The argument is, are we breaking out of this trend now too? So you can kind of see it here. And you could say we're breaking out of this trend at 125. The problem though, if we look at this, is the extension long term here. So let's clear this out. So number one, we've been falling for a year plus now, over a year. So ENPH has been downtrending long term for over a year. The other sketchy part about ENPH is that in 2017, so 6 years ago, it was at 65 cents, right? Now, that doesn't mean it's not stable long term, because again, companies can thrive, they can do well, they can pick up sales and all that good stuff. But it's a relatively new company, all right? It's a relatively new company, showing a lot of success over the last 6 years, but over the last year, it's had a very long-term downward trend. Right? And so because of that, I do not think this is a sure thing. I think there's obvious risks, but maybe there's some extension bias to get into now. I don't know. How often do people you've banned email you to ask to be unbanned? A lot of the time they'll apologize. Like, I've had a lot of people apologize and be like, hey, I'm sorry. You know, a lot of people are like, hey, you were right, I was wrong, or whatever it is. But usually that doesn't end up going well. Like, I've had people, and again, the guy that ultimately did this ended up passing away. You know, he was like a heavy drinker, and so it was just kind of a, you know, toxic thing. But we had this guy that used to be, you know, a friend of the channel, right? And again, I'm not going to say names or anybody like that. He used to be a friend of the channel. He would come to the channel, and again, I think he drank a lot, right? I think he drank a lot. Well, anyways, he started to kind of hate on, like, in our Discord, sometimes he would lash out and be like, this guy John sucks, or whatever. He just kind of start talking smack all of a sudden, right? And so I was just kind of like, all right, well, I'm just going to ban him. I would ban him. He would plead me to unban him. He would apologize and say he was sorry and tell me he was just drinking and that he felt terrible or whatever. But sometimes when you're doing that, your real feelings come out, like when you're drinking. And so I would unban him. And then everything would be fine for like a month or two, and then it would happen again, right? And then it would happen again, and I'd ban him, and then the same sob story. Eventually, I just never unbanned him. He eventually passed away from liver disease, I think. But point is, sometimes it's just not worth it. Even if they beg me to unban him, it's just not worth it. Yeah, rest in peace. Sorry to hear. Again, I feel for him. I really do. I was always try to be nice and like I try to give people second chances, but again, that wears on you after a while, I think. Solar stocks. I don't trust solar though. I think solar could be the future, but I also think it's incredibly up in the air. Like I think the problem with door-to-door salesmen is that a lot of solar like door-to-door salesmen are essentially just kind of scamming people, right? They're going there, they're having them finance for 20 years, their house. Like the problem with financing solar for 20 plus years is that, like, okay, here's the big problem. If you're financing something for 10 to 20 years, like how much is technology going to evolve in that period of time for solar, right? So say I put a bunch of solar panels on my roof and I got to pay those things off and spend more than my energy bill just in terms of interest, on these solar panels that I've slapped on my roof, right? And then what's to say that in 20 years, technology is not going to evolve to a point at which it renders my solar panels relatively obsolete? Like, who's to say that doesn't happen? I think that's a very big possibility. Technology grows quickly, evolves fast. And so, I don't know. The door-to-door salesman talking people into financing, like, solar panels on their roof just seems like a really sketchy market. They're earning big commissions. Most of the time, they're wholesaling it from other suppliers anyway, so, like, they're getting it for $10K. They're, having people finance it for $20K plus interest. It just, I don't know, man. It just seems to be, and then they're going door to door, talking people into it. And of course, the people that get talked into it are going to say, oh, no, it's great. It's great. But is it really? I don't know. Again, maybe it's a market I just don't understand. That's certainly possible. Yeah, too, man. He wasn't super old, bro. And so again, it was just a sad thing, man. I don't want to. Again, I'm not gonna say his name or anything like that. But again, running a community, you just get weird people, man. You get people unhappy with their life that just kind of lash out, and it is what it is, man. I feel for him. I do. I try to have empathy. But yeah. Hope all is good. My TA and on ADA prompted me to open up a tiny short. What do you think? Geneva, Switzerland. Hey, what's up, Ali? Yeah, I mean, I don't know about a short. I think it's certainly arguable that we're extended on the upside now, but it's also arguable that we're just heading for a bull market and that market's going to keep moving up and break highs, continue to break highs. That's arguable as well. Typically, the question is, on normal Santa rallies, does the market generally correct in January, right? January earnings season starts as well, right? So on normal Santa rallies, let's take a look back at years past in the holidays, right? Here's the S&P. All right, so we're going to zoom back out. Here's 2020. We're going to go back prior to 2020 because I think, all right, so here's December of, here's December of 2018. And then here's the Santa rally. But the Santa rally there started much later. And the question is, when did we pull back? So we basically had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 green. Here's the last 9-week green streak. It was back in 2018. Here. But again, that Santa rally went all the way until February. We didn't have a losing. So January was completely green. But that rally started later. Right? Like this rally started much later. So we were actually at the same period this year, we were actually having big pullbacks and drops on the S&P. All right, let's go to the next year. All right, so here's 2020. Santa rally started here, continued into January where we had a red week. And it looks like January we had a losing month. So we did have a big correction in January after years past. And that's that's the question now is, do we have a big correction from this year's big influence? Like we've had big runs, guys, big runs. Like here's a weekly chart on the S&P 500, right? The S&P 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be 8 green weeks in a row on the S&P. The SPY itself is a little bit better than this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, never mind. It's the same thing. So yeah, we are. Actually, we're on the cusp of 8. I'm sorry, I might be wrong. We're on the cusp of 8 green weeks in a row. We've had 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've had 7 green weeks in a row. Sorry, my previous comments were wrong. I had it a week off. I think I saw somebody trying to correct me as well. So my apologies. But if we end this week green, it'll be 8 green weeks in a row. Let's see if we hit it. One thing I've learned lately is don't fight the trend. Yeah, 100%. There's a big markup. Market will rally till the end of December, maybe. FedEx recovering some. So how'd you find out he passed? He was like a part of my community for a long time, you know. And he would, you know, again, the problem is that, like, the problem, I think, his issue with me is that, you know, you get people that come here and okay, here's the easiest way to put it. I'll have people that join my stream and they're like, hey man, I just started day trading. Thank you so much for helping me. Like, you're helping me learn. I just started day trading last week. You know, I'm paper trading still. I'm just trying to see how it is. That's great. They start to, like, become an active member of the community sometimes. And before you know it, they're in the chat and they're like, bro, I'm making 20K a day. I've been day trading for 15 years. You know what I mean? I'm making 20K a day. I just made 20K on a trade. You know, yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, last week you were paper trading and it was your first week trading. Now you're saying you've been day trading for 15 years and you're some type of guru expert now. I think trading is one of those markets where people really start to, people all of a sudden just go from 0 to 100. Like, they go from brand new trader, never done it before, to all of a sudden I'm a market expert, right? It's one of the reasons I don't like the word expert, because I'm not one, you know. I'm not even claiming to be a good trader. But you get that a lot, and if I see somebody act like that, I'm usually like, I'll let them stick around, but I'll usually just kind of like slowly start to interact with them less. It's just not really what my channel's about. But anyways, that's kind of what happened. And when he passed, somebody reached out to me and they were like, hey, this happened. They sent me his obituary, you know. Again, I feel for him, man. He had kids. He seemed like a good dude. Just kind of, you know, drinking's tough, man. You know, everybody's winging it, yeah. Meme coins is the real value in 2024. Maybe, man. We'll see, dude. Crude oil price bounce up, ocean freight price bounce up, dollar index bounce up. Stock market today may pull back a little bit, maybe. I'm in oil right now. I'm in Exxon a little bit. Still very green in it. I've been riding it up the last few weeks. We ended up adding to it at a really nice spot. So, like, Exxon, we were down in Exxon for, like, let me see how long I've been holding this. So we were down in Exxon. I don't even know if it shows me my original trade. Yeah, it doesn't. I was down in Exxon for, like, I don't know, for months, I would say. And on this last week, I added like pretty decent size to it because I thought that we were at the bottom. So I added pretty decent size. I ended up getting an average price of Exxon now of $97.99, which is a beautiful price. I don't even know how I hit that price, because that's like close to the lows of the last couple months, really, since September. And again, I really do have that price. Like, if you look at this, my average price on Exxon is $97.99. But I added to it, and then we caught this latest bounce over the last few weeks, and we took most of the profit off. Now we're sitting on like a very small position of it, like 10 shares. But we're still in it, and I guess I still hope oil runs. Google, man, just treat me really well. $70% month to date, man. But it's after being 80% or so down. Okay, so yeah, you're almost break even. Hey, what's up, Dominic? My stock size down 60%. Bro, you're trading too large then, brother. You're trading too large. Again, if you're down anything over 5%, team, you're trading too large. You know what I mean? Like in your account, like you're trading too large. Just scale down. No reason to just go crazy in stocks, guys. There's no reason to trade that large. Again, you have to understand, and I say this over and over again, I am like a freaking broken record here, and that's okay. But again, if you are here, I think we have I think we have current account data about to drop. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we do have current account data about to drop. Let's see if it influences the market. We got the SPY, the Q, and Tesla on the right. All right, there's a current account data expected at minus 197. Minus 197. And here we go. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up. Let's see if this affects the market. It's dropping right now. I don't think it's going to affect the markets, I guess. I don't see it moving either. We'll put it up on screen once it shows up, but... Alright, I don't see it yet. But yeah, current account data expected at minus 197. Yeah, I don't see it. Still nothing yet. I refreshed it. I looked on another screen. I still don't see anything. So if you guys have it, let me know. Yeah, I've got a couple funded accounts. Again, I'm waiting for this data to drop. It looks like it's late. It's supposed to be out already for current account data. Love the music. Hey, thanks so much. A positive thing about the music, man. I think most people actually like the music. Minus 203 billion. Is that really it? Minus 203 billion. Yeah, I don't see it yet on mine. Okay, yeah, you're right. It's minus 200.3 billion. Minus 200.3 billion for current account. Again, it didn't influence the market at all. The big one, CB Consumer Confidence at 10 a.m. today, guys. We also have ECB's Lane speaking today. Crude oil inventories. But CB Consumer Confidence is the biggest one. But yeah, it didn't move much. Hey, John, have you seen the news in action on U.S. Steel? No. Yeah, I'm looking up the news now. U.S. Steel stock is soared. I mean, it's not really up that much right now. It might have been up over the last couple weeks, but I mean, the whole oh, yeah, yesterday. What's the reason for this? Okay, so U.S. Steel is it's an acquisition for $14.1 billion. So Nippon Steel is going to acquire U.S. Steel. So it's an acquisition, is what it is. So X is getting acquired by another company. Here's Apple today as well. Apple gapping down some. Yeah, so there's the SPY, there's the Q, there's Tesla. But yeah, again, it's the current account data is not really a big influence. It's not really messing with markets like that. I'll put it up on screen so you guys can see it. All right, I gotta change this music a little bit. $20-year bond auction at 1. The bond auctions have caused some big moves. Yeah. 55 a share. That sounds right. That's about where it is now. Unrelated, I'm putting a small amount of money on Dricus over Sean Strickland towards TKO. How do you see that going down? Dricus looks good, man. I mean, he's a solid fighter for sure. If I'm Strickland, I'm worried. You know, I think Dricus has that KO power more so than Sean does. And so I think in that regard, Sean's, he's got uphill battle there. Strickland is going to be around for a while. Yeah, he's going to be around. I mean, he's a great fighter. The question with Strickland is this. All right, the real question is this. Pereira took his soul when he KO'd him, man. He got completely dropped by Alex Pereira. So the question is, how long does Sean Strickland's chin hold up? That's the real question. He's looked a little chinny in previous fights. If you don't know that, what that term means, it means his chin's kind of going away. So if he can avoid getting hit, which he's very good at, he's very good at defense. Strickland's defense has been great. He might win, but I think it's going to be a tough fight for sure. But with that said, I thought Izzy was going to beat him up too. So Pereira is a beast though. Yeah, but so is Dricus. Is it Dricus or Dricus? Let me see. Alright, team. Let me mute this real quick so I can hear. Okay, it's Dricus. Unmotivated Izzy? Nah, Izzy was motivated, man. Again, what happened with Izzy, man? People act like Izzy just didn't care and let freaking Sean Strickland win. That's not true at all. Izzy wanted to go undefeated at middleweight, bro. I'm telling you, he wanted to go undefeated at middleweight. He didn't just let Sean Strickland win. All right, I'm going to tell you what happened. This is what happened. In the first round of Sean Strickland versus Izzy, Izzy was doing what he always does, which is counter-strike, play really good defense, jab, trap, basically as a counter-striker. But Sean Strickland caught him very clean, right in the jaw, dropped him heavy, and then followed it up with a barrage of punches, right? People can say whatever they want. They could say, oh, Izzy just didn't look himself. You're right, he didn't. You know why he didn't? Because he got dropped heavy in the first round, and that messed him up for the rest of the fight. So again, it wasn't that he just wasn't motivated. He got dropped hard in the first round by Sean Strickland. Again, that is why he didn't look himself for the following rounds. It's because he got hit so hard in the first round, he never really came back from it in that fight, and he kind of just coasted through the rest of the fight because, again, he had almost got KO'd. That is why Izzy looked like he did in that fight, is because he got completely dropped in the first round. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Silver. I don't really watch Silver or trade Silver that much. What's the symbol? Isn't it SB for Silver? What's Silver? What's the Silver future symbol? I always get it wrong. Silver futures. SILZ3. SI? Yeah, it's SI. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so yeah, Silver futures moving. I just don't trade them that much. Again, the Q is so flat right now and so sideways and neutral. Just nothing really is happening here. So nothing's really happening. We're basically completely flat or sideways, Yeah, and I was green on gold for a while too. I ended up taking some profit off of it, but we're just kind of sitting tight on it now. I just don't know. I mean, I see the NASDAQ start to run a little bit here. Starting to break. It's trying to get over that 200 EMA. I see the SPY pop. Let's see if we get any news to justify this move. Mercedes is going to recall some cars. Some diesel cars. Morgan Stanley says market expectations for a Fed rate cut in March are overdone, and they only expect a cut in March if payrolls fall below 50,000 for February, and with core CPI below 0.2% month-to-month increase. So that's an interesting nuance here. We'll put that up as well. That's Morgan Stanley and what they expect for a rate cut. You know. Again, market is very flat right now, very neutral. Again, Tesla sideways. Look at the SPY rip though. The S&P ripping up at 474.17s. But yeah, again, you can kind of see this here. Again, Morgan Stanley says market expectations for a Fed rate cut in March are overdone, and they only expect a cut in March if payrolls fall below 50K for February, with core CPI below a 0.2% gain month to month. Yeah, college for finance. No, the only real reason to go to college for finance is if you're gonna be, like a portfolio manager or something like that. You know what I mean? Like an advisor. Yeah, isn't Amazon running up? Yeah, Fed doesn't cut rates, I think, if they don't have to, because inflation is still too high. Inflation is getting better for sure. If we look at inflation, like, we can look at the CPI data, the 12-month change, and see how much better we're getting for inflation. Like, again, inflation is high, but it's relative to where it was. Like, we're getting better here. Again, here's inflation's graph. All right, so again, what you really want to look at, the nuance of this graph is going to be 2020, which is right around here. All right, so again, you can kind of see starting in 2020, which was the pandemic, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, prices rose drastically all the way up to the late November, the late 21 highs, almost at 10%, at like 9%. I remember covering this. Inflation was freaking out of control. It really was. Inflation was crazy bad at this period of time, like crazy bad. But again, people acting like we're just in this crazy territory for inflation are the same people that are going to say this number is wrong or whatever, right? But as you can see, the market has dipped drastically back down to really where it was prior. We're here now. Prior to this, we were here. So we're basically back where we were inflation-wise in 2018, 2017, 2019. You know what I mean? We're well under 5%. Again, the Fed says their goal is to hit 2%. And again, we'll see if we do or not. That is their goal. But we don't know when that's going to be possible to hit 2%. Again, I don't know. When will we hit 2%, guys? The Fed thinks it's going to be in like 25, 26. So, again, we'll see. But this is inflation. This is where we were. Again, if you guys have watched the stream for long periods of time, you know that over the last few years, we've done a lot of rate hikes. And the reason we did those rate hikes is because inflation was peaking like this, almost at 10%. And so, again, we've done a lot of rate hikes in that regard. We've done a lot of, big moves in inflation on the upside. But we have had inflation slowing as well. And again, what do we mean by slowing here? We mean that what we mean by slowing is that inflation is always going to go up over time. It's one of the reasons like a house now is going to be much more expensive than a house 20 years ago. And again, we say this all the time, but it's important to understand that inflation increases over time. That's what happens. Inflation increases over time. Prices go up. Your dollars are devalued and prices go up over time. And so the goal is not to stop inflation altogether, which would essentially be CPI at 0% or inflation going down. Hopefully, that happens, and sometimes that does happen, but it's not a reasonable expectation. It's not a sustainable expectation, I guess is the easiest way to put it, right? And so what the real goal is to slow it, is to stop it from increasing at the pace it's been increasing, right? Because again, at 9%, what does that really mean? That means that prices are 9% higher on the year. So what was once $1 is now $1.09. You know what I mean? And so again, the goal is to slow inflation back down to only 2% growth over time. Last time for CPI, I believe CPI dropped, was it last week or was it the week before? Let me see. So last week, I think it was last week. Let me see. Might have been the week before. Okay, yeah, so last week, CPI came in at 0.1%. What does that mean? That means inflation only increased 0.1% month to month, and it's at 3.1% on the year. And so, again, it's still not the 2% goal, but inflation has been slowing. And again, slowing is the word. It's not going down, but it's slowing, and slowing is good, and it has decreased a lot. It's gone from, again, 9% down to 3.1%. And that's a positive sign. That means prices are going down. You see it in gas prices, right? You can look at core or whatever, excluding food and energy. But the easiest way to put it, groceries are still expensive. But gas has gone down dramatically. In the peak of this inflation period, gas was $6 a gallon. Now it's what, $2.53. So gas prices and other prices all around have gone down over the last couple months, or over the last year. And that's good. That's good. The real reason for this inflation, guys, if you want to know, okay, it's very obvious what the real reason is for all of this, is that, quantitative tightening, or quantitative easing, money printing, number one, but also, so if you remember, in 2020, we had the pandemic, right? During the pandemic, you got checks. The people couldn't work as much, so they got checks from the government. When more people spend, prices go up, right? So because everybody's getting these checks from the government and they're spending this money, right, on whatever they want to spend it on, prices universally went up over time, right? That is what made inflation. There's a lot of reasons for it, but that is one of the reasons that prices got to the levels that they did over the last few years. But now, since the market and the world in general is more back to business as usual, now we see inflation start to decrease a little bit more, and, that's kind of where we are now, a few years later. If inflation went down, why am I still paying so much at the store? Because it's not going down, it's slowing. But yeah, I hope all that makes sense. Again, just to give you guys some understanding of what's going on and why prices got so high, what the Fed's doing. And again, as I always tell people, what the Fed's trying to do when it raises rates, what the Fed is ultimately doing when it's raising rates, is the Fed is trying to discourage spending. Right, the Fed is trying to discourage spending through raising the federal funds rate. By doing so, it makes banking more expensive. Banks raise interest rates to consumers. When interest rates go up, consumers stop spending as much. Businesses lower prices to compensate for it. That is the cycle of rate hikes, right? But it's a lag effect. It takes a year or so or more before we start to see that effect on the economy relative to the rate hike, right? And so there's a lagging effect. The biggest question mark moving into 2024 is we've raised rates really aggressively over the last year and a half. What are the banks going to do next year? What are the banks going to do next year? Are we still going to see some dramatic effects from these rate hikes into 2024 and beyond? When does the Fed choose to start cutting rates? Is another big question. Some people have predicted as early as March. But again, it's going to depend on what the economy looks like. If the economy is thriving, but prices are rising and inflation's still a problem, the Fed's much less likely to cut rates. If prices are stabilizing, and specifically the labor market needs to stabilize, because what Jerome Powell has said historically in these meetings and during these Fed meetings is that the labor market was too strong, it was too resilient. Basically, too many people are working, too many people are spending because of that, and prices are still unstable. And so another thing that you want to watch is jobs. Pay attention to jobs. Pay attention to unemployment. Specifically, pay attention to payroll numbers, because those are things that are going to influence when the Fed cuts rates. Again, you can see this thing at the bottom. Morgan Stanley says market expectations for a Fed rate cut in March are overdone. They only expect to cut in March if payroll numbers are down, right? So signaling a more stable labor market, not as inflated labor market. They want less payrolls. They want higher unemployment to signal rate cuts. They don't want the opposite. And so again, with jobless claims coming out, like something like jobless claims tomorrow dropping, that'll be relevant to all of this as well. Jobless claims are how many people are filing for unemployment. It's a weekly report, but that'll be a big influence on, what the market does, what the market looks like. And then none of this is including bonds, which are falling down drastically because, again, usually there's bonds are there's an inverse correlation with bonds in the market, right? So with the market flying up as much as it has, it's not a shock that like the 10-year, for example, is down under 4%, under 4%. Because again, bonds are guaranteed returns. Like what you buy in a bond is guaranteed by the U.S. government. But it's a smaller yield relative to something like the S&P 500, right? So, you can buy bonds, make 4% right now, interest per year on whatever you invest in them, and it's guaranteed. Or you could buy the S&P 500 and make on average 10% a year, but it's not guaranteed. Crashes can happen, volatility and variance can happen, and so they're competitive with each other. So stocks go up, bonds go down, bond yields go down, is the nuance of it to understand. Will recession be good for the stock market? It's subjective. It's arguable. Not subjective. It's arguable. The 2-year yield is always falling. The Fed is behind the slowest react as usual. This is why central planning is going. Yeah, I mean, maybe. Right. Government handed out money. People spent it. Inflation, 100%. You don't think they are lowering inflation because... I mean, I think, yeah, it's definitely an election year. And so they're going to want to, you know what I mean? They're going to want to... They're going to want to stimulate the economy and markets. Won't be 10% a year if you buy at the summit. Oh, sure. I mean, but again, the thing with investing is this. It's 10 years. It's 10% on average. But that includes crashes. All right. And so what that means, and again, I say this over and over again every day, but what that means is that on good years, the market's going to go up much more than 10% because it has to include the crashes as well, right? So 10% is including the crashes. So on a good year, we're going to move up 20%, 15%, to compensate for the bad years. But you got to zoom out if, if you're worried about hitting that 10% target. So we're watching the markets. We scalped a little bit today on Top Step. We were up about $75. My equities portfolio again is kind of flat. We're down a little bit. Hey Tiny, hope you feel better. Have a great day. Oh wait, I'm dumb, man. I titled this wrong. It's not 8 green days in a row. Hey, what's up, Shepard? Thank you for your insights, John. Your ability to simplify and clarify the fundamentals of the market is truly phenomenal. Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, I think if there's something I do well, and again, I always got to be careful saying things I do well because people are going to be like, oh, this dude brags too much or whatever. But I think one thing that I do well is I can express my thoughts very clearly. And so if I have a skill, I think it's simplifying my thoughts in an understandable way, you know, or simplifying things in an understandable way. I think that's something I do well. But maybe I don't, and maybe that's just ego or whatever. Exxon, we're a little bit green on this. We're a little bit green. I like Quant Tower, Layden, but everybody's different. It's a subjective thing. CB Consumer Confidence at 10. Yeah, we do have CB Consumer Confidence at 10 a.m. We'll see what happens. Yeah, definitely top 3 most braggiest traders in the world right now. Well, it depends on what bonds. There's all kind of bonds. You know, there's bills, there's bonds, there's notes, whatever you want to call them. There's short-term bonds, long-term bonds, medium-term bonds. I usually look at the 10 and 20-year bonds. That's my go-to, but everybody's different. Gold moving up a little bit. But yeah, everybody's a little different and nuanced there, you know. Again, if you haven't already, guys, also check out TopStep. TopStep, funded account program in futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo without hitting the max loss, they fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split. This is the first plug we've done all day from any sponsor. And so, again, if you haven't already, check them out. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. Again, day trading is difficult. You know, most day traders lose money. And so, again, and if you think you're going to skew outside of those percentages in terms of most traders failing in the beginning, you're probably wrong. Almost all day traders lose money in the beginning. And so think about it objectively. You could either put thousands of dollars up yourself and risk thousands of dollars in the market, and again, most likely lose. Most day traders lose their first few accounts, really. Or you could try a funded account program like TopStep. It's $49 for the base one. They're going to give you a demo, and they're going to test your skill with that demo account in futures. And in the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, you can day trade the NASDAQ, you can day trade currencies, you can day trade gold and silver, and there's no PDT rule. You can day trade short, buy market, buy bid, sell the ask, just like stocks, but there's no PDT rule. You can't actually day trade individual stocks, but you can day trade index funds like the S&P, the NASDAQ. Again, patterns are very similar to stocks, but there's no PDT rule. And if you fail, you're only out what you pay for the challenge. You're only out, you know, $49 for the base one. But if you're good enough to pass it, once you're funded, you get a 90% split. There's free funding coaches. You get to keep your first 10K in profit. And just taking the challenge builds your skill. Some paper trading platforms alone cost more than this. And so it's a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. If you're great, if you're good enough to pass it, great. If you're not good enough, you're only out $49. And if you pass it, again, 90% split anyway. And so I think it's just a good way for new traders to learn how to day trade with limited risk. Or if you don't have that much equity and you want to try to give it a shot that way, that's great as well. Again, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm certainly biased in their favor because they pay me money. I'm always very transparent and honest about that. But if you want to check them out, here's the link in the description, as well as you can check the link out in the chat right now. Gold is moving up a little bit. Again, bonds right now, the 10-year treasury yield is at 3.8% right now. A little bit under 3.9, actually, about 3.9. Yeah, I mean, a rate cut will signal more optimism regarding inflation, but a rate cut will do less to combat inflation over time, as the risks, of course, but will ultimately be better for the economy in general, right, and for banks specifically. I'm still in Amex here. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this off. All right, just took some off. I'm looking at these cave divers, man. I'm claustrophobic enough. I didn't realize how claustrophobic I was until I started hearing some of these stories about cave divers, man, and stuff like that. Dude, I don't want to have nothing to do with caves. It's Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday. All right, guys, market's super flat right now. Super choppy, kind of boring. Nothing really going on right now. Again, we got CB consumer confidence data later, of course. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just not about that dive in life, man. Again, if you've ever heard Donald Cerrone talk about how he was cave diving, and yeah, there's no way I'm doing that ever. You know, just not my style. No freaking way I'm ever about to do that. Again, I'm not judging you. You're a braver person than me if you can do it, but I'm not about to do it. Do you think a pullback could cause fear at these overbought levels? Sure, 100% corrections could happen. You know, I mean, I certainly think it's possible for us to pull back. So I certainly think it's possible for us to dip. Now, whether we're going to dip soon is another story, again, into the holidays. We don't really have much big economic data coming out after tomorrow and Friday for PCE. PCE data is very relevant. So if you want to know the biggest market influencer coming up, it's PCE data. It's the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index. That's on Friday. GDP happens tomorrow. So these are both really big reports that have really big influences over markets. Especially inflation data. Again, the PCE report's just a huge report, guys. It's a very big report, very relevant report. All right, so market's starting to flush down some. Let's see what happens here. All right, team. I go spearfishing alone after dusk with a torch. I'm good on that too, brother. You know. Hey, do your thing, man. I'm not mad. You know, I'm just not about to do it. Yeah, I see the FedEx drop, and I'm kind of interested in it to see what we're gonna get. Bitcoin trying to push through. I'm kind of interested in a buy. Bitcoin over 44,000 right now, guys. So again, Bitcoin is ripping up. It's over 44,000. Most of the text on. Oh, there's so many of them, Jarrett. There's so many of these companies that are just terrible companies and penny stocks that are just putting out super sensational media, you know. Hey, thanks so much for the support, Dr. Crypto. I appreciate the supportive comments. I really do. Sometimes, like, the haters are just louder. But I appreciate the love, guys. Genuinely do. All right, market is super flat right now. I think the only real way to attack this is a buy at the bottom, sell at the top type of strategy. We've still got 25 minutes until the market opens. Market has more traders by YouTube. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of traders now. We got in early though, so you know, again, it's kind of funny. People say my views are low or whatever, but it's like, dude, again, you know what I mean? Like, if we're streaming day trading, those streams might be slower sometimes. But again, I know how my channel works. Like every quarter we have a 2-week slow period, and we're in that period now. Usually it's sometimes only a week, and then earnings season actually starts back up, which I'm actually really excited about. I love earnings season. It's definitely more work on me, but earnings season sparks up, I believe, January. Let's see. Okay, earnings season sparks up the January 9th with Pepsi, a couple other big boys. Followed by... Okay, earnings season starts Friday, January 12th for sure. So January 12th is when earnings season starts. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup kicks off earnings season. Again, January 12th in the morning. And then the following week is when all the big boys come out with earnings, specifically Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, I believe Tesla as well. On Thursday? No. I guess Tesla's not going to be UAL. Verizon. Okay, Netflix, January 23rd. AT&T. When's Tesla? It might not be. Let me check this out. Tesla earnings are going to be January 17th. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so earnings really start off Friday, January 12th, and then the next week is when they kick into full gear. Market's super flat right now. SPY's starting to look a little bit weaker than like the NASDAQ here. I'm watching Tesla dip too. But it's very slow today, guys. For a Wednesday, I know it's hump day, and the market's been green for weeks and weeks now, but it's just really slow. There's not a lot of action today. Yeah, well, good luck, Jarrett. Yeah, sorry, Pawn. I haven't even pulled up my Discord today, bro. Hey, you as well, Yelton. Thanks so much, man. All right. Again, we're just sitting around waiting. We got 20 minutes left until the market opens. 20 minutes left. JetBlue. I don't know too much about airlines. Like, I'm watching them, but I really don't know what we're going to get for them. You know what I mean? Beware of economists who won't admit they were wrong. 100%. I think there's just a lot of ego that's in trading, man. And again, I have it as well. I'm definitely top 3 most egotistical traders in the world right now, for sure. Definitely top 3. But when you look this good, I mean, it's hard not to have an ego. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I see a lot of it. It mostly stems from people calling for market crashes and then the market ripping up, having a historic weekly green streak of 8 green weeks in a row. And so, yeah, if you just posted a video a couple weeks ago, what I see a lot of them actually do right now, what I see a ton of them do, right? Like, you got these big market traders with with millions of subscribers, like over 1 mil sub, that basically told everybody the market was going to crash, the market was going to dump, and they told everybody to sell now. If you scroll back, you can literally see these reports, right? I'm looking at one right now. I'm not going to be specific over who it is, but I'm looking at it now. They're literally telling everybody the market's going to crash for the last 4 weeks. Sell now. You know, you should sell because of this. I'm not going to tell you even but a lot of them, if you go to their videos, again, here's a challenge. Go to some of these big market guys. Go to their videos that always tell people the market's going to crash. Scroll down in their video comments and look back over the last month and a half. A lot of them have been telling people to sell for months, and the market has had one of the most historic green week streaks in a long time. You know what I mean? And again, what they're doing, I see a lot of them, what they start doing is they start uploading more and more videos, kind of trying to dilute it, get those old videos out the way so people don't see them anymore. But again, I would respect them a lot more if they just said, hey, I was wrong. Right? Because a lot of these guys are telling everybody the market's going to crash every other day, and then retail gets influenced by that. FedEx lost Amazon. Yeah, FedEx is gapping down heavy. Yeah, I don't think we're going to cut in March. Not unless payroll numbers, unless the job market shows cooling, I don't think we're going to. I hate that market goes in trends, 100%, you know. I think a lot of them just don't understand. Again, my theory on it is, like, a lot of these guys were day traders, right? So if you go from, like, pure day trading where the market's going to be red a lot, like, there's a lot of volatility, a lot of movement. If you go from, like, pure day trading to economist, you're not going to understand what the real edge is in the market. You're not going to really understand how powerful the upside is in markets, right? You're not going to understand it. Like, maybe you hear people say they're skeptical about markets. You watch the Big Short movie and you maybe romanticize stuff like that a little bit more. The Donald Duck song, man, it's been a while. And so I think over time, that influence of, like, day traders turning into economists and always thinking that the market's about to crash, that's what makes those people make those type of videos where they're just telling you the market's going to crash every other week. And so, again, I guess the overarching point is just be careful, guys, watching anybody and listening to anybody on YouTube. YouTube's a great resource, but you got a lot of day traders that turned into economists that have just been wildly wrong about their predictions. And again, this is coming from somebody that was a day trader that talks about the economy now. But yeah. You guys red or green so far today, guys? Let me know in chat. Are you guys red or green so far? I am slightly green in futures. On stocks, I am slightly red, I believe. So, yeah, we're down $22 in futures. Red. On the verge of a Great Depression crash every day, but do they even have a portfolio? Perma bears lose long term, 100%, yeah. Red. Yeah, it's all good. All right, so we are starting to get some dips here. Look at Tesla fall down to 255s. You know, I'm kind of torn on what I think the market's going to do today. I think it could really do anything. I think, again, I think it really could do anything. I think let me see, hold on. The NASDAQ Q specifically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've had 7 green weeks in a row. 7. We haven't had 8. I thought it was 8, but we actually have 7 green weeks in a row. If we close green this week, it'll be 8. But again, that type of extension usually means that a pullback is coming. The question is, does it happen soon or later? A pullback is eventually going to happen. Again, the real question is, does it happen now or later? You know. But what I guarantee you is that when we do correct, and again, say we drop 2%, people are going to try, the crash predictors are going to act like they were right because we dropped 2%. All right, so be ready for that as well. Understand a 1 to 3% drop in markets is not crazy. And to get a correction after a historic green run like we're in is normal, you know. So the question is, when is it going to happen? And I don't know. I don't know when it's going to happen. Slightly red so far. If this dumps, it should switch. Yesterday and today show an indication of a red day. Stock market has no top because the dollar has no bottom. The dollar can go into negative value and Americans still accept it as an instrument of exchange. Yeah, I mean, I feel you. Watch gold. First red morning in a while. Ex-dividend day in a couple positions. Short 9 different positions, all swings. Hey, good luck. I'm still green on, but a little down from yesterday's close. Today's to be fearful and not hesitate. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, we're up 24% this year. Nah, we're not up 24%, are we? No. Let me see. All right, so the SPY started the year off in January at about 384. We are currently at 474. Oh, I guess you're right, man. We are up 23% this year. That's crazy big percentage, man. What a shock. 23%. Really 23.5%. Maybe a little bit more than that. But, yeah, you are right. 23%. I didn't even realize it was up that much. But, yeah, a 2% drop, of course, is going to take us out. Again, I understand we're extended on the upside. But, yeah, you're right. 24%, 23%. Yeah, 2022 was a red year for sure. But again, what I always tell people every day is the same thing, which is that I say the same thing every day, which is that we've only had 3 events in history in which we've had more than one red year in a row. And so 2022 was red. This year was green. You know, still kind of following that trend. Like I said, other years make up for the negative years, 100%. Once you start to understand that nuance, it's easier to gauge like market long term, because you understand on good years, that's the time to jump on. On bad years, that's the time to maybe wait if you want to try to pin it that way. It's more difficult, of course, but like, again, once you understand that nuance, you understand that, like, we might not be as extended as people think. People hear 24%, right? And that's a big year, of course. It's a huge year, right? And they hear the market gives you on average 10% a year. So they think, oh man, 24%, we are just up crazy. And we are. We're up a lot. But it's not as extended as you might think we are. We're probably extended. But it's not as profound as you think it is for this year being up so big, because again, that 10% a year includes crash statistics. So as I say 1,000 times a day, 10% a year includes crash statistics. And so on a good year, we're going to move up much more than 10%. I.e. this year, we're up 24% on the year so far. 24% since January. And again, just try to understand that. If you want to know why betting against the market long term is a bad idea, that is why. Because the market typically is able to compensate for the bad periods. All right, guys. Tesla at 255s. SPY down at 473s. Yeah, we're sitting around kind of waiting here now, team. Yeah, we do have CB consumer confidence data coming out today. Drops in like 40 minutes or so, so just kind of sitting tight waiting. The market's really flat though right now. I mean, this is very low liquidity chop. I don't think the market's waiting super heavily on CB data, but maybe it is. I don't know. Market opens up in about 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Hey, slap that subscribe button if you haven't already, team. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Sold 2 S&P 500 contracts at 47.60s, hoping for a target of 20 plus. Very illiquid market right now. They're very choppy market here for sure. SPY still testing lows. Tesla bounced back up over 250s. Yeah, sorry, Chambers. Just we're not gonna promote competition here. You know what I mean? All good though, brother. All good, man. Appreciate you watching my stream. But what do you feel about FedEx? You think FedEx is gonna have any kind of bounce back? I'm looking at FedEx. PE ratio is really low. It pays a nice divvy, but it's up so much on the year already for FedEx, right? So if we look at FedEx here, we can't ignore the fact that FedEx has had a crazy good year. Look at this. It started off 52 weeks ago at 160s. It's up to 280s. So it's had a crazy percentage increase. Again, it's gone from 160 to 280s, so it's up 75% this year. 75% on the year. And so I typically like buying these big, profound pullbacks. But even after this big pullback to 250, it's currently up 56% on the year. And so in that regard, I'm a little bit less likely to buy it, especially when you consider the extension in markets. And usually this is kind of like my go-to move where I look for big negative reactions to earnings and I kind of buy those up and attack those. But this is a little bit different just because of the market nuance of everything, like broad market wise. Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft is flying up this morning. I'm still in it as well. That's nice. Yeah, I see Bitcoin flying up too. All right, so market's still basically sideways, not really much going on. I'm watching Tesla here. I'm also trying to look at like Apple and some other ones. I'm hoping we get some good action here today too. All right, so we are starting to test that 200 EMA on the Q here. So we are testing the 200 EMA on the Q. We got 3 minutes until the opening bell. I'm hoping we get some volatility here today. So we're almost there. We're gonna get ready to start day trading some today. Let's see. All right, team. We're gonna get ready to start day trading. Hopefully, we can get some good stuff today. Gonna put the Nasdaq up here. We got 2 minutes until the opening bell, so I'm a little bit late for our day trading. Try to put 3 charts up here so you can see like the Q, FedEx, maybe like Nvidia. We'll put up. I know Tesla's gonna be a little bit harder to see. But look at Nvidia rise. So Nvidia up to 496. What's going on with Nvidia? Nvidia just technically went green on the day. So is there news that just came out for microchips and crypto? Something happened. Anybody know? Something just happened. Again, specifically, Nvidia just ripped up, went technically green on the day. And this could pull everything else up with it. Tesla just went over the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. My equities portfolio bounced back some too short term. So interesting. When will the Santa rally start? It's arguable that we're already in the Santa rally here. Yeah, it's arguable that we're already in the Santa rally. There's the opening bell. Watch NVIDIA 497s. Look at the NASDAQ dump here. So look at the NASDAQ fall. All right, so again, we have retraced all the way back up, which typically makes me want to buy it, but it's also the opening bell, so I'm going to have to wait and let things cool down a little bit first. Yeah, we've been in a rally now for a minute, for sure. Dude, I got a terrible fill with 2 contracts. I'm gonna have to cut it there. Terrible fill with 2 contracts. And again, my fault. I just jumped in way too close to the opening bell, and so it's all good. We'll see if it ends up making me punishing me for it. But again, the NASDAQ is falling quickly here. Tesla's falling down too. And now we're ripping back up here. Wow. Very flat open here, team. Bitcoin all the way up to 44,500 here. Coinbase starting to dump down though. Finally getting a little dip in markets. Yeah, I'm looking at NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA shoot up. NVIDIA about to go to 5s. They're trying to go to 5s. Got close to it. Very close to it. We'll see if NVIDIA can hit it. Again, we got CB consumer confidence data in less than 30 minutes. I'm going to put a timer up. Because we got about 27.5 minutes. Nice. We are ripping up some. Wow. FedEx down 31 due to that bad report. Yeah, again, that's why I don't trust FedEx. FedEx is up so much on the year already. I just don't know if it's going to be that big, deep extension play like I wanted it to. You know what I mean? I see strength, though, in a lot of stuff here. Watch NVIDIA. NVIDIA almost up to 5s. Look at Tesla rebound back up some, too. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm feeling this song. This song's a little bit too poppy for me. Yeah, well, it's a bull market right now, right? So, of course, the bulls are jumping on. And again, that's why I told people, in these bull rallies like this, it's kind of like picking up pennies in front of the train track with bulls. You know what I mean? They want to do it. Eventually, if they're wrong, they're going to get hit. But if you could do so successfully, you can pick up some pennies. And so that's kind of what it is. All right, Coinbase ripping back up. Bitcoin ripping back up. Tesla rising. Market's going here. Watch. I want to see if NVIDIA makes a push towards 500 is really what I want to see here. See if NVIDIA can slap 500. S&P still ripping up a little bit. We'll try to piggyback off the NASDAQ here some. We've got 5 minutes since the bell, so we got a little bit more time to trade now. Just up so much already. Deep extension to the upside short term. We'll look for a small little pullback and see if we get it. Look at the Q. Tesla. FedEx had earnings yesterday that were interpreted negatively, is what it was. So FedEx had earnings. ECB's Lane says there's a lot of disinflation happening, but it's not necessarily consistent, and that's why the ECB remains concerned. How you guys doing so far at the opening bell? Again, we lost a little bit. We earned it back, most of it. And we did switch accounts here too, since we kind of lost a little bit on that first account. Second account, this is it. We ended up losing that first trade. We've kind of scaled back in. We're down 26 bucks right now on the day. We currently have a 2 contract position of the regular E-mini, and we will take a little bit of that off there. All right, we're now technically green on the day. We're riding this up some more. I don't like that rejection here, so we're just going to get out. So we're up about 40 bucks right now. Again, we got so many up wicks and down wicks, though. The pressure is kind of inconsistent. So again, the pressure is kind of inconsistent here. I'm watching NVIDIA here. I think if NVIDIA can bounce off of this VWAP level, we could get another push. You can see the NASDAQ still heading up. Mostly Tesla and other tech stocks are moving it up as well. I need kind of a pullback before I get involved with this. I'm also going to throw this thing in sub-only mode, so if you haven't already, hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. Everybody that's subscribed, announce it. Show us that you're supportive. We appreciate it. I might buy this dip here. There we go. Slightly green. Again, I'm looking for NVIDIA to bounce. That's what I'm betting this on. Get this out of the way. We're up 30. 50. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. Build up a cushion at first. So again, we are up $75 on the day. Probably could have held it longer. I think NVIDIA is going to bounce right there. This is going to push it up. And that's exactly what we're kind of getting. So probably could have held it a little bit longer. There's NVIDIA's another second test. If we get a deep pullback, I'll buy it again. I didn't get filled like I wanted to. I'm going to just... Alright, so I didn't get filled like I wanted to, which sets me up to be a little bit more vulnerable here. But it's alright. We'll let the trade work. I want NVIDIA to bounce here. There we go. Churn up. There we go. Alright, so we just made another 60 or 70 bucks. We are up now 140. Building a cushion. Small size so far. We have CB consumer confidence data dropping in like 22 minutes as well. Bitcoin rising. Coinbase is flat. Tesla going up, testing the previous high of the day. So Tesla trying to go green on the day here. Again, Apple green on the day at 197s. My equities portfolio is flat. NVIDIA technically green on the day at about 498s. 498s. The Q tested the green level here, but we're actually hitting the previous lifetime high. You see this big green bar? That's the previous lifetime high on the Q. So you can see we just ran into that level. All right, I don't trust this, but I think it could also just run big too, but it's a little bit too risky for me. I'm just going to let it play out first. Here goes NVIDIA moving up to 499s right now. 499s. $500 is just right above us. Q breaking over that level. Maybe I should have taken it. I was definitely wrong there. We ended up just flying up. Watch $500 for NVIDIA. It could slam us back down though. Here's 500 right here. So watch 500. It could slam us back.
See, it looks good, but it's also risky because if we dump, we could probably dump quick, take an elevator down, if you know what I mean. I'm gonna buy this. Nvidia looks like it wants to bounce, so but I gotta be careful for that elevator down. Luckily, we have a cushion on the day. Trying to churn up. Completely middle road. Definitely a little greedy buying it right here, though. But sometimes greed pays off. There we go. All right, we just locked that in too, kind of scalping that. We're up 184 on the day. Again, here goes Nvidia testing 500. Tesla going green on the day as well. We are close to 2 big resistance levels though here, team. Again, Tesla broke previous close. Nvidia at 499s. Tesla starting to rise up too. Man, what a run. Should have stayed in these instead of scalping it, but it's all right. Q trying to go green on the day as well. The NASDAQ is rising also here. Man, look at this run. I'm going to short this. It's incredibly risky. And it looks like I'm just getting punished for the short. The reason I'm shorting is because Nvidia is right under 500, and sometimes these big hold dollars can just reject the crap out of them. As well as a lot of stuff's a little extended up here, I think. Alright, we just scalped that. I'm out though. I can't hold that top short very long. Again, we are up again. We're at 220 on the day profit. We've got a nice little cushion that we could probably swing a little bit more into. What a bullish day though so far. Big comeback here. Again, we got CB Consumer Confidence in about 18 minutes or so, team. 18 minutes. Look at the NASDAQ still rip. Wait, what else do we have here? We got pending home sales. I believe we have pending home sales. What other? Existing home sales is what we have. Finally starting to get a pullback here though. I'm gonna buy this dip. Definitely risky, and we have a cushion on the day though, so we could probably take a little bit larger risk now and swing into that cushion. It depends on what Nvidia does right here though. Tesla as well. I think we're both at kind of a bounce level. I'm gonna hold off on adding to this until we dip a little bit more, and then take a little swing on that if we can. Maybe I'll regret not adding more to it. And again, if you want to day trade with me, I'm on a platform called Top Step where they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target on the demo without hitting the max loss, they fund you between 50 to 150K. All right, we're going to get ready to add to this. We got 2 contracts now. But again, I built up a cushion on the day of 200 plus. So if I lose, I'm kind of break even. which is the goal. But again, TopStep gives you a demo. They test your skill. They're the most legit one in the world. They've been around for over a decade. They pay out millions, fund thousands of traders every year, pay out millions in actual withdrawals. They give you a demo. They test your skill. Just taking the challenge builds your skill in futures. And in the futures market, there's no PDT rule. So it's really how you day trade with less risk. If you lose, you're only out $49 that you pay for the base combine. If you get the base combine, if you're good enough to pass it, they fund you between $50,000 up to $150K with a 90% split. Great way to learn how to day trade with less risk. Most day traders lose money. And so again, you can either try to look cool, put up thousands up yourself and risk that, or you could try this out. Again, patterns and futures are very similar to stocks. There's just no PDT rule. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take half of that off, lock it in, grind the rest of that up. All right, so we are now up about 270 on the day. But again, if you want to check them out, here's the link. Again, they're a sponsor of mine, and so I'm certainly biased in their favor. They pay me money. I'm biased, of course, but genuinely useful company. I don't accept sponsorships from everybody. Like I showed you guys my emails earlier. Like I get tons of emails sent to me about sponsors. People acted like I was lying about it, but again, if you look at this, like look, it's very easy. Like, look, this is literally the last day. Collaboration, roadmap, potential collaboration, new offer received, business proposal. But again, TopStep is dope. Like, it's useful. It's very useful for traders. It limits your risk. Most day traders lose money. I don't think there's any difference. Like, you can either paper trade regularly, or you could paper trade this way, and if you're good enough to pass it, they fund you. You know, and some paper trading platforms are going to cost the same amount, so it's an easy choice. There's the market rip up, so that little 3-minute dip did work. Yeah, I don't know if it's a buy or sell right now. I'm mostly going long. I shorted once today. What do you mean by cushion? What I mean is like the way you should trade universally, not just on TopStep, but the way you should trade universally, in my opinion. And I'm going to preface it with I am not an expert. I'm not a market expert. I'm not liable if you lose. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about everything I say. But in my opinion, the way you preserve your account and you limit your risk in any type of day trading is you build up a cushion first on the day and with small size. You build up a cushion with small size. So you see me, I'm mostly only taking one contract. I only started taking 2 contracts on this last trade where you can see it's a little bit steeper of a graph. But prior to that, I took 1 contract of everything for the most part. I built up this cushion, right? And with small size. So I built up this cushion. You see I'm up like 275 or whatever, 270 on the day. Now that I have that cushion, now I'm more allowed to take larger size. I can trade larger. I can take more than 1 contract if I want. And if I lose here, then I'm back down to break even. Instead of having like a big drawdown where I'm down significantly, if I lose scaling up, I'm back to break even, right? And so that makes it so that on my losing days, a lot of the time it's a small day. But on my winning days, I have the potential to, if I want to take larger size now and then I win again, I could take even larger size and get some like $1,000+ days. That's how you do it with the least amount of risk, in my opinion. But again, not an investment professional. Always figure out what works the best for you. All right, so we're dipping down a little bit here. Part of me wants to buy this dip. The only risk part of this is that Nvidia is under the volume weighted average price, looking weak. Tesla's starting to pop up though, so Tesla might drag the markets back up too. Again, you can see Nvidia and Tesla on the bottom 2 charts. Nvidia's under the VWAP looking weak, but Tesla just broke highs. And so Tesla is very heavily weighted stock. I think it's like number 6, maybe number 9 in the S&P and NASDAQ, so very heavily weighted stock. There's Nvidia pop up too, so this looks strong. Look at Tesla's rip too, so this might pull the NASDAQ up a little bit now. Maybe not though. Depends on what everything else is doing, of course, but this looks strong to me. I'll go ahead and put my money where my mouth is and buy the dip and see if that pop happens. And if it doesn't, we have the cushion, but we're only going to take a small size because I'm not super confident in this one. But again, look at Tesla rip. Tesla's still churning up. All right, we're back to close to break even here. There we go, slightly green. Let's see if it churns up some more. All right, so we're gonna get out of there. So we got out slightly green, I think. But I don't trust it now that NVIDIA back under VWAP here. And look at the S&P 500. Here's the E-mini. Here's the S&P E-mini, so it's a little bit different, but all right, we did get that rip. I should have stayed in it. Yeah, maybe I'll attack it a little bit now. We'll see. All right, so again, we're right at the highs here, right at the highs. My equities portfolio is actually technically green on the day now, technically green. I don't live purely off of trading, Robert, for sure. Like, I certainly don't live purely off of trading. I wish I did, but again, I'm not claiming to be an expert or a guru or some pro day trader. Like, again, most of the people that claim to, I don't know. I'd rather just be real and say I mostly cover economics here on my channel. So like we day trade at the open, but we're mostly an economics channel. Like we cover the economy, broad markets in the economy, you know. But I day trade every day. Love day trading, of course, but I certainly don't guarantee any type of results. CB consumer confidence drops in 8 minutes here. 8 minutes. Market looks like it wants to rip. NVIDIA looks like it's churning up. Let's see how much NVIDIA has a weight over the market here. Look at NVIDIA. I do a couple different things. So I'm a real estate agent, like a licensed agent here in Texas. I also do some software development, like JavaScript, React, like React Native mobile development. And so we do a little bit of everything, to be honest. We got a couple different income streams. This channel certainly makes money. But yeah. Tesla's up to 259. It's technically green on the day. Looks good. See if it churns back up, though. Big if. Do you have it OnlyFans? Nah, man. Of course not. I'm in the Houston area mostly. Yeah, I mean, that's cool, Jamie, but no offense, bro. Again, I'm going to say this with the utmost respect. I don't want to meet up with you, brother, you know. No offense. I'm going to, let me think of the easiest way to put this. I appreciate y'all's support. I really do. We got too many weirdos on the internet, guys. Too many weirdos. Like, I have made the mistake of giving like a buddy of mine on here my phone number, bro, and I swear I got called every day, all day, multiple times, like 30 times. You know what I mean? Like, I learned my lesson there. No offense to anybody and everybody at home. We are actually in the NASDAQ right now. I'll probably put the NASDAQ. Let me put this up instead. We're up 60, 65, 100, 110. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut that there. So here's my gain so far on the day. About 5 plus, 510. Hey, thanks, William. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks, sir. Hey, we got 4 minutes here until CB consumer confidence data. No, I don't have an OnlyFans. My equities portfolio actually technically green. I hear people talking about Colorado. All right, guys, the NASDAQ up to over $17,000 here. What's the NASDAQ highs? NASDAQ over 17,000, mostly helped by Tesla this morning. We got CB consumer confidence data dropping in 3.5 minutes. The NASDAQ lifetime highs, team, are at 17,046. 17,046. So we still got a ways to go. Nvidia's still in a struggle here. Oh, I see the news in Colorado. Okay. Big upward movement here. Again, CB consumer confidence data, 3 minutes here, team. 3 minutes before CB data comes out. I'll probably slow down my trades for now. Tesla, Nvidia, and the Q both all pulling back slightly here. I still got this little downward trend here so far. I'm going to buy up one contract here at the bottom of the trend, and hopefully it holds, but it doesn't look like it has so far. I'm not going to add to this. I don't trust it enough. Kind of flat on the trade right now. All right, they got a little pop up. We'll give it time to work. You know what? I'm going to cut this. We lost like 50 bucks. We got 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes left. I'm still up over 460 on the day. Or I think I'm up. Yeah, we're up 455 on the day. But again, I'm going to cut this just because we got CB consumer confidence data dropping in 1.5 minutes. And I don't feel like getting stuck on a volatile move. I don't know how big this is going to even move markets, in all honesty. You know, I really don't. MicroStrategy just jumped. Yeah, Bitcoin up to over 44K. It's probably why, with how much Michael Saylor's holding in crypto. Again, we got less than a minute. We got 45 seconds left, team. 45 seconds. Good morning, John. What is the report that's coming in 20 minutes? It's CB consumer confidence. And that's in about 30 seconds, actually. Here we go. Here's the report, team. AMD. Well, yeah, I mean, again, we're sideways. Here's the report, team. Here we go. CB consumer confidence data, 103 expectations. I think existing home sales higher than expected. CB consumer confidence data higher than expected at 110.7. 110.7 versus 103.8. Higher than expected. CB. I think it might negatively impact markets, but I'm not 100% sure. More, again,
it might negatively impact markets, but I'm not really sure. Again, 110.7 came in versus 103.8 expected. So far, we are moving up a little bit here, team. We are moving up. Existing home sales came in at 3.82 million. 3.82 million versus 3.77 million expected. Higher existing home sales, higher than expected CB consumer confidence, and the market is ripping up on this data. So again, the market might be turning more towards a good is good scenario here. We're going to put this up on screen. Again, there's the CB consumer confidence data on screen. Again, it might be moving towards a good is good market. But we'll see. Again, there's the CB consumer confidence data. Bonds aren't really moving that much from what I can see here. The NASDAQ just ripped over highs. Remember, the lifetime highs on the NASDAQ are up there also. So the lifetime highs on the NASDAQ are 1746. We're at 1720 now. Starting to dip down. Part of me wants to buy this. I'm going to buy it, I guess. Although it's a volatile time to buy it, but I think we're going to buy it and see if we can make a run. We got a nice cushion on the day. All right, big downwick pressure, big pop up here. Let's see if we can continue up. I might buy the dip if we can. All right, there we go, nicely green. All right, so we just made about $100 real quick. We're up 540 on the day now, 540. Still moving up. Yeah, so far market likes it here. Again, the NASDAQ reacting positively to CB consumer confidence data. Remember, 1746 is the lifetime high. So this level right here is the lifetime high on the NASDAQ. Let's put a bar up there. That's the lifetime high on the NASDAQ here. And so again, we'll see if it holds. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. It's a funded program in futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you could pass the test, they fund you. If you don't pass the test, again, you're probably going to lose more money putting the money up yourself. Almost all day traders lose money. Regardless of what platform or program they use. Top Step's the most legit one in the world. Again, they pay out millions every year in actual withdrawals. They fund thousands of traders every year. They pay out, they've been around for over a decade. And again, it's just a great way to learn day trading with less risk. Again, most day traders lose, so you can try to look cool on the internet, put up thousands yourself and probably lose it, or you could try a funded account program. If you lose, you're only out $50 basically on the base combine. You can check it out right there. They are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. There's the link. I'm certainly biased though, of course, because they pay me money, but again, very useful in my opinion. The other sponsor I have, guys, is a company called Chart Prime. It's a trading view indicator service you can use in stocks, forex, futures, whatever you want to use on. I can put up any symbol, any security here in anything really, and I'm able to actually use them. Again, they have powerful results, powerful indicators. If I put them up here, I like using the Oracle and the Dynamics. The Dynamics shows you like chart patterns, flag patterns, wedges, stuff like that. The Oracle shows you buys and sells, like strength or weakness. And again, they're just really, really useful, really useful results here. Again, you can see the strong buy signal coming in way back here, and then look at the big rip up. Strong signal there worked, sell signal there worked, sell signal there worked. Like, look at this action here. And again, I can't guarantee you're going to profit, but I can't fake this either. Look, strong buy signal, huge bounce. Sell signal there, huge dip. Strong buy signal there, a rip up, and this is a 5-minute chart, so this is like 30 minutes. Sell signal there, that worked. That's like 25 minutes. So again, they are literally 4 for 4 today on these signals, is not even including the flag there. And again, you can keep going back. Look at the strong buy signal here, beautiful bounce. Again, it's powerful. I challenge you to back test it yourself. Again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Of course, nobody can, but I challenge you to backtest it yourself. And there's a ton of stuff that they offer: screeners, backtesters, oscillators. It's $50 a month. Really, really cheap when you consider it. And again, if you want to check them out, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm certainly biased in their favor. There is the link. Look, I'm also going to put up the link in the description. You can try out both of my sponsors. And with that said, though, guys, I'm going to go ahead and bow out for the day. We are up almost 600 on the day right now, almost 600. So again, we're going to go ahead and shut it down, take our green days, take our W's. And again, I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see if today ends green as well. I love you all. Y'all be safe in these markets, guys. Y'all have a great day. And yeah, love you all. Y'all be good. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, big day. We got GDP, the Philly Fed Index, jobless claims numbers. Friday, we have PCE. It's a crazy busy week. Y'all stick around. I love you all. Be safe. I'll see you guys later.